Donald Trump's infamous joke of a speech where he successfully convinced naive Americans into thinking that there's a full-on invasion of Latinos coming into this country has just been used brilliantly by the Argentinian soccer team. For all you Trumpsters watching this, soccer's a sport. It's very popular in other countries. We don't play it much here though, Joya. We don't talk about soccer very much here. But yeah, before we jump into why this even matters, that this Argentinian soccer team is using this, let's watch the clip and then we'll talk about it.
Our country is in serious trouble. We're having people coming in through the border that are not people that we want. Thousands of people are coming through the border, hundreds of thousands, and they're unchecked.
Well, that is a commercial that the Argentinian team is using to promote their squad for the upcoming Copa America, which is going to be happening here in the U.S. I actually have tickets. I'm going to go see Brazil play. This is going to be fun. But but yeah, so what they did was brilliantly use, you know, that speech. And I suggest you guys watch the whole thing. That was just a clip. I didn't want to show you guys too much of it. But he really goes into detail about, you know, how these people are killers. And then they just keep going back and forth between the clips of them playing and then Trump saying these things. And it really works very, very, very cleverly. Yeah. And it speaks to a larger issue here. You know, I think the more that we see people like Donald Trump in politics here in the U.S., the more we're going to see other countries making fun of us and seeing us as a laughingstock.
Well, and I do think that that's a good way of dealing with it, is to point out just the ridiculousness of it. It's one thing. I mean, there's such hate speech incorporated in a lot of what he's talking about that I think the best way you deal with a troll, I think, is sometimes humor. And so I think they did well with that. At the same time, there is a concern for me. I mean, I at least hope that they are aware that there is a large number of Americans that don't agree with Donald Trump's rhetoric. You know what I mean? Because I think back to when I studied abroad in Italy, and I remember when I went there, I talked to a lot of people that they sort of had this assumption that all of us were big supporters of Bush, and I was like, no, believe me, there's, you know, so it's like there's that part of me that yes, he's a joke, but I don't want that to speak for all of America, you know? Right,
and it doesn't. And I think, you know, they can confidently make fun of our presidential candidates, namely Trump, only Trump, knowing that, you know, the large portion of the country doesn't think that way. So, well, you know, if that was the entire country, for example, they wouldn't be doing that, you know? And look, a lot of Trump supporters say, well, you know, these people need to get out of American politics. They need to stop meddling where they don't belong. Well, we didn't see this when other people were running for president. Even Bush was 10 times more level-headed than Trump was. I mean, it's no coincidence, right, that all of a sudden we see Saudi princes, and I've said this a lot, other presidents, ex-presidents of Mexico, current presidents coming out and blasting Donald Trump. There's a reason this thing is happening, and I think as long as we have someone like Trump in politics, we're going to have to get used to other countries kind of seeing us as a joke, and that's a problem because we're an influential country. We need people to respect us and take us seriously, and it's hard to when you have somebody like Trump in politics.
Well, and especially when after, you know, you've had Barack Obama in office for this long, and he kind of undid a lot of the buffoonery that happened under the Bush presidency. So it's then this pendulum swinging back to, you know, the worst part of America, which is Donald Trump. And I just hope that we can find some solidarity and
yeah, that's for sure. And I think, you know, like I said in the beginning, I think they can make fun of us, knowing in confidence that not everyone thinks that way. You know, Americans are great.
Like they're coming here to play games for us to watch, right? So it is this it's counterintuitive to be like, oh, these evil Latinos sweeping in. You're like, actually, we're on it's like private airplane, you know, coming to play football. So.
Right. And that's what happens. That's what you get when you put, you know, millions of people into one group and call them, you know, one or two names, right? Yeah. You can't do that. That's what children do. So therefore, he's going to get trolled by other people. You troll, you get trolled, and that's the way it is. But yeah, it's just funny that given the xenophobic political climate that, you know, is happening, this crazy political contest that we got going on. You have the Copa America coming in, right, to play their games here. So I think it's going to be a great contest to watch, you know, all politics aside. But hey, Argentinians taking, you know, wasting no time making sure that they make fun of Donald Trump in their commercial. Not that the Argentinian team really needs a commercial, though.